welcome to a new video and welcome to 2024. I hope you guys had a great beginning of the year. I have been off enjoying my vacation with my family and I have a couple of videos already made for you guys. So this is the first one of my vacation series and I'm taking you to Paris. We are going to some of my favorite shops and looking at some of the landmarks there, and then I sit down and I draw. So let's get comfy and let's start the video. So the first stop we did in Paris was go to Shakespeare and Co., which is right across from Notre Dame. And the reason why it was our first stop is because I personally love that shop. There's a personal history to it and also the history of the shop that just fascinates me. My own story of Shakespeare and Co. is very much linked to my grandma Betty, who was a very avid reader, and I would go with her to secondhand bookshops all the time whenever I would visit her in the summers. And I recall that she had, I believe, something from Shakespeare and Co. and she told me about this shop and I just had to go there. I used to love Shakespeare. I was a literary nerd and still am. And so the idea of there being a shop in Paris, being the romantic, literary, artsy person that I've always been, I had to go there. And my first time being there was when I was 16. And so whenever I'm in Paris, I love to go into that shop. You're not allowed to take any photos or videos while you're in there. You're supposed to be in the moment and just enjoy the shop. And of course I respected that and wasn't going to do that. So it is just this old house, and the first owner of Shakespeare & Co. was Sylvia Beach, I believe is her name, and it was created in I forget the date, 1920, between 1920 and 1940s, and Hemingway was a supporter of that shop, and she published James Joyce's Ulysses, and so that is quite a significant thing to do, and this is why it's such a well-known shop. It was then closed down, they changed locations and owners, and the original owner gave the blessing to the second owner, which I completely forget what his name was. I think he was a former soldier. And they now continue on with the name Shakespeare & Co. And it's just this beautiful shop, completely covered in books. And they also have the principle that writers can come and actually stay there. And there are some beds in the second floor of the shop where they can sleep there. However, if they sleep there, they can sleep there for free, just that they have to help out in the shop and they're supposed to leave like a one-page autobiography if they stay there. And they are actually called tumbleweeds, which I find to be such a little cute little nugget of history. And so it was a beautiful shop. I, of course, got a couple of things. I got a tote bag from Shakespeare & Co. It's something that I've always wanted and never bought. And I thought, this time I'm biting the bullet and I'm buying myself a tote bag. And then I bought 2 books that are gifts. So these are the 2 books I got. So yeah, so that's our first stop.
Rojo verde.
The second stop was, of course, an art shop. And this is also a little shop that I have gone to before, and this was my second time in there. The first time was several years ago when I went there with my husband. We met up in Paris when he was doing some work in Bretagne before we even moved here. And I found the Sennelier shop. And it's very, very, very old. I'm not familiar with how old it is, but it's one of the oldest art shops that still exists in Paris, and it is in an old building. And as you can see in the video, because there you are allowed to film, or I didn't really ask and there were no signs, so I just filmed. It is full of art supplies, and I got a couple of things there, which I can show you then later. But I use in the illustration that I do of a little Parisian scene, which is coming up. We're currently in Paris.
Comí dos.
Okay.
Voy a tomar tres.
Y me lo das. And just like that, it was time to leave Paris. But with all of the footage that I had, I was ready to sit down and draw something. I took plenty of reference pictures. That's what I really like to do because, I'm with my kids and I don't really want to just sit down and draw while they're just waiting around. So I take pictures and then whenever I have time, I sit down. But first, let me show you what I got in the Cinedia shop. I only got a couple of things, which turned out to be super expensive, but I don't regret them. I do not regret these purchases because they're really great. So I first got a drawing pen. It has a drawing nib and a refillable cartridge that you can put inside. And then I also got some Inktense pencils, just 4. And these colors I actually do not have. And I thought I had the complete set of Inktense pencils, which I had bought a long time ago when I was in Barcelona. That's where I first discovered these and I fell in love with them. And so, but I only got five colors. And I also got some black ink. Now, the person in Cinedia recommended this, and I did tell him that I usually use Herbin, I believe is the French pronunciation, Herbin. But this is carbon black ink. And the way that you refill the cartridge is that you turn over the bottle upside down, as you can see right now in the video, and then you put the cartridge into the pen with the nib in there, and then you're supposed to pull the ink into the cartridge. And I really liked this pen. I really liked it a lot. It's nice and smooth and easy to draw, and the ink is really great. So I'm very happy with my purchase. It was a really great recommendation from the person from Cinedia. So thank you a lot, salesperson. And so now I am going to show you guys this little image that I'm going to draw. I picked just by random one of my reference pictures. It's of, my daughter and my husband walking with our dog. I was holding my son's hand, so that's why he's not in the picture. And you see the Notre Dame in the background. And it was a lot of fun. Lately, I have been enjoying drawing more urban scenes and paying attention to details and just taking it step by step. And I find it to be a very reflective, peaceful, calming, meditative process of doing little windows and little details and paying attention to the little lines and dots and points and edges that are in architecture. Even though I still do not like to draw buildings, I do enjoy paying attention to details, going from the general to the specific. So that's what I'm going to be drawing. So let me find some nice music and speed this video up, and let's meet at the end of the video. Alright guys, well I really hope you enjoyed that video and come back next week to see the next of my vacation vlogs. See you next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.